hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Hey, Nadine. Hey, Miss Katia. Hello, Blossom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, you guys are coming in here. Hello, Sugar Shani. Hey, this is Namaste More of RichardandNamaste.com, founder of the School of Feminine Transformation. Welcome, Tamu. Welcome, the Lady Diva. Hi. Hello, happy Saturday. Thank you, thank you. So it's Fabulous Feminine Saturday. Because I forgot. I was so busy traveling yesterday. Thank you that I did not get a chance to do a Fabulous Feminine Friday yesterday. Thank you, Nadine. And so I wanted to come in and do this one today. Because one of the things that really, my sound is bad. Can you guys hear me? Is my sound bad? Somebody's saying that the sound is bad, so we don't know if it's them or if it's me. Sound is good. Thank you. Thank you. It's fine. So it's you, Chelsea. Leave and come back. Yeah, just leave and come back. Thank you. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the feminine, because you know I'm all about the feminine. So who is anybody in here? This is your first time joining me on a broadcast? My name is Namaste More. I'm of RichardandNamaste.com. Also the founder of the School of Feminine Transformation, best-selling author of Yoni Egg Secrets. Welcome, Krista. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to invite you guys to invite your followers, especially if you have a lot of women who are followers or friends of yours, because I'm going to talk a little bit about the feminine. I try to give you guys amazing content to help you, to help you in your life and to help you evolve and remember your feminine. Thank you for inviting your followers. Oh my gosh, you guys, the hearts, pink and purple hearts. I'm loving that. They kind of match me today. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit. Oh, and if you don't know how to invite your followers, you can swipe. You can also click on a little man and invite your followers that way. So for those who don't know. And I talk about when I'm with my hubby, when I'm with my beloved. Yes, 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 Fuzzy. Yes, 1950s. 1950s. Welcome. What's your name? Tell me your name. Sometimes usernames don't correspond to how people want to be referred to. So welcome, welcome. Usually I broadcast with my husband, and we broadcast on sustainable relationships and living a phenomenal and amazing life. And when I am by myself, thank you, Creative Goddess, when I'm by myself, I broadcast on the feminine and how to create, cultivate, and embody as a feminine creature, as a feminine being. I believe that that is the key to living a life based on ease, pleasure, and flow for the vast majority of us as women. And so I look a little different today than what you guys have historically seen me looking like. This is not an atypical look for me. I do dress like this from time to time. I just don't often broadcast looking this way. So this is very 50s, very much. I even have the sweater. Guys, I even have the sweater to go across my shoulders. Very 50s. Very 50s. And the reason why is A, my beloved loves it. He loves this look. B, I love it. And C, it embodies a very specific type of feminine energy. And so many of you guys, if you are Dr. Finch, Akina, am I pronouncing that correctly? Welcome, Dr. Finch. I'll give you props. So here's the thing about the feminine. If you have spent any time, or if you know anything about women's empowerment and how that's showing up in the world right now, there's not a whole lot of discussion about the feminine in as being an expression of feminine or women's empowerment, and that's my specialty. That's what I like to focus on. And the feminine archetypes show up in many different ways. Thank you guys for sharing. It shows up in many different ways. Okay, there are a number of ways that the feminine can embody, and the wild woman archetype is one of those archetypes. The maternal archetype is one of those archetypes. But not only does femininity embody in different archetypes, it also embodies in different types of energy. Okay, and there are two primary forms of feminine energy. And sometimes feminine energy can be in the realm of mystery. okay, which is all about being kind of the feminine mystique, you know, think very diva-esque, very, you know, hidden, very looking through a veil, okay, is the feminine mystique, is the feminine showing up as mystery. And another way the feminine can show up as is warmth. And warmth is an invitation to engage, okay? So where mystery is a veil, warmth is an invitation. It's saying, come closer. And this look, this time period, if you look at old movies, if you look at women from this era, you can really see those two distinct types of feminine energy showing up. You can see it showing up as either, and look at some of the iconic women from that space. Okay, look at, and where you see this at, understand, ladies, that the energy is not necessarily, especially if you're unconscious about it, it's not necessarily how you feel inside yourself. It's about how you are being perceived by others. Okay, so sometimes that's important to know, because sometimes you think you're being warm and everybody else is feeling you as mysterious, and some women think they're being mysterious, but they're coming across as warm. So when you understand how your energy can show up, it gives you the ability to really connect with it and utilize it as your own, as opposed to always just feeling like you have no control over it. Like, this is just me, this is just the way I am. You are divine, you are amazing, you're phenomenal. So you can come across however you want to, but there's a way. It's just like learning how to cook. You know, I can't cook. Cook is a learned skill. We can all learn how to do these things. It's just about, do we want to? So when it comes to the feminine, and specifically when the feminine shows up as warmth, again, warmth is that invitation. And this look, a lot of times it can show up as that warmth. It says, come closer, come. I'm approachable. You can talk to me. You can see me. I'm open to being engaged with. Okay, I'm open to being engaged with. There are many different, someone says the word goddess aligns with being warm. Actually, there are goddesses that show up as mystery. There are plenty of mysterious goddesses. So again, it's the energy of when a person is in your aura, when they are in your space. Do you, and I'm gonna tell you some ways to know, okay? So here's how it shows up. Warmth shows up in an open smile, okay? It's lots of teeth. Okay, the body tends to be very symmetrical, and it tends to say, like, come here. Like, when you meet people who are warm, you want to give them a hug. You're just like, I just want to hug you. There's something about you that's just like warm, like a warm brownie or a cookie fresh out of the oven. There's something about you that just makes me go, I just want to get, yes. A lot of times warm people can come across as being a little more, hey, Isis, hey, so warm people can come across as being a little more extroverted, even though they may not be. Okay, people who tend to go towards, or women who tend to go towards warmth, because we all have the opportunity to be both warm and mysterious. But usually we tend to show up as one or the other more naturally. Okay, so if you tend to go towards warmth, this is how you show up. Everybody got distracted by the brownies. Everybody's like, I want brownies. Right, that would just complete the outfit, right? If I just had a tray of brownies, and I have some brownies right here. No, I don't. Now, if you show up as mystery, okay, you tend to show up, you don't smile as much at all, and when you do smile, it's just a slight smile. So let me show you, okay? Warmth, mystery, okay? Warmth, mystery. Okay, mystery says, I have a secret. Okay, mystery tends to have, the voice tends to be a little lower. You don't necessarily know if you want to come towards that person. Okay, you don't necessarily know if you want to engage with them. You don't know if they're welcome to being engaged with. You're just unsure. Mystery has a huge question mark with it. Okay, Tamu, you are definitely mystery. Isis is also mystery. You know, there's a lot of women. It's interesting because I have found it interesting because once you know about these different types of energy and you know how you show up and you know what comes naturally to you, I always suggest practicing the opposite, because every woman has access to both, but we have to learn to be both. Historically, I've been way more mystery. I learned to cultivate more warmth, and now I can be both when I want to. But oh yes, you are more warm, Isis. I've noticed that you are very, very warm. You're showing up as a lot more warm, yeah, than like when we first started being around each other. Yeah. So when you know that you're naturally one thing, play with the other, because you should never put yourself in a box like I can only. Understanding that you can be both means that you can say, hey, you know what? Today, okay, so here's how this shows up, because this is the thing. It's always about so what now what. It's always about like, so what's the big deal about this? The big deal about this is if you're going into a situation, if you're a business owner, or even if you're not a business owner, you're just going into a space where you're going to be around a lot of people who you don't know. Do you want to be approachable? Are you trying to make connections? Are you trying to make friends? If you don't have friends, if you want new friends, you want to cultivate new friendships, and I hear this a lot from people saying, I have friends that I've had since I was growing up, but I don't have a lot of friends around me that are where I am now. And so if you talk to some people, some old school people, they'll say, well, if you want to have friends, you need to be friendly, right? Sounds obvious. And you say, well, I'm not friendly. I think I'm friendly. You want to add more warmth. Add more warmth, because warmth makes you friendly to other people, okay? Being warm unto yourself, okay? Being warm unto yourself it's not going to get you more friends. It's not going to, if you're inside yourself saying, I'm warm to me, but your face for everyone else is showing up like, but inside I'm warm. That's not getting you friends, okay? Yes, exactly, Shani. And if you're trying to be flirty, if you're trying to create a little more sex appeal, okay? If you want to convey a little more, it's not even power. If you want to convey a little bit more authority, mystery is really good for that. Okay, mystery is really good for conveying to other people, I am the voice of authority. I am someone to be taken seriously. So that's what I'm saying, ladies, is that there's a time for both. Okay, and what we want to know how to do is how to be both and how to show up as both, and not always be in reaction to how we're showing up, right? So a reactive space is, I'm in a situation where I don't know anybody, and I'm super uncomfortable, so I'm in mystery. Well, that's being reactive. Thank you, Yanni. That's being reactive with your essence. And I want you guys to understand this. I want you guys to get this, okay? Really grok this. This is not about just, I'm only one thing. This is not about saying, well, I'm this and that depending on the situation. Yes, but are you at a space where you can decide, where you're deciding, how do I want my energy? How do I want to engage with other people? I'm going into a situation, it's uncomfortable. So I guess I'm just being mystery now. But is that how you want to be when you're in that space? Do you want people to come up to you? Do you want to be the star of the show? Do you want to be the person that when you come into that space, everyone just flocks to you, as opposed to you having to run around and make those connections? Do you want to have more friends? Do you want to be more friendly? Okay, then even though I'm uncomfortable, I can still tap into my inner warmth and let that not just reside inside of me, but let that energy connect to it inside of me and then let it radiate out. Okay, so that I am a literal invitation to the people who come in contact with me. Even if they don't know me, they want to. They feel like they would be welcome to come in contact with me, because when you're feminine and radiant, people are automatically going to want to come close to you. But the way that you're showing up is going to decide if they feel like they can or not. Okay. Now, if you're in a space where you have a tendency to Maybe you're in a corporate environment. Maybe you are in a space where you're the youngest person there. Maybe you're in a space where you're the only woman there, and you feel a little bit like, oh, you feel a little intimidated. What you want to do is connect to your feminine, connect to the source of your power, connect to the space of your feminine. And my soft muses know what I'm talking about. Connect to your womb space, right? And then from there, you want to allow to flow out your mystery. Okay, so it's, I am still in the place of my feminine. I'm not being a wall. And that's the thing, that if you show up as mystery, that you need to be aware of. A lot of women have more mystery, but it's not a veil. It's showing up as a wall. Okay, so you're showing up as too harsh in your mannerisms. You're showing up as too harsh in your facial expressions, in your vocal inflections, as well as what your body language is saying. Okay, so mystery is not a wall. It's not, look, okay, I'm just letting you know. Look, okay, I'm not even, that's not mystery. Okay, mystery is not, I have this really stern, closed face where I don't want you to. That can be a shadow form of mystery. Just like warmth can have a shadow as well. Because if you go to warmth very easily, then when you get uncomfortable, or if you aren't comfortable with your power, you can radiate it too much, right? So it's not like you're just smiling. It's that you're like, I'm so warm, oh my God. You're almost manic, right? So you don't want to go to that extent. On the other hand, mystery can go to the other extent where it's just like, I'm just a hard wall, just get away from me. And you don't want to do that either. All of these things are meant to connect you and show off your energy. It's a way of you engaging your essence and your energy in a way that serves you as you move through the world, as you move through your life. When you are connecting, for instance, with your beloved, okay, with your partner, there are times where you definitely want to connect through the element of warmth. I'm here for you. I want us to we're having a wonderful day. There's times when you want to connect with your beloved through the energy of mystery, especially if you want to have like really hot sex, okay? Mystery really helps with that. If you're trying to elevate the tension in your relationship, and tension is a wonderful thing. Tension is a wonderful thing because polarity creates tension. So if you want to elevate that sometimes the way to do that is to add just a little bit of mystery to it, So not just giving away everything and saying everything like, oh, okay, this, that, and the other, and I'm just going to just emotionally vomit all over you. Sometimes it's more like, yeah, I can't wait till tonight. What do you think? I got some things up my sleeve. Mystery has a little bit more of that, it's a veil. Like, don't you wonder what's behind it? Okay, that's what mystery conveys. Whereas warmth tends to say, just come on in, So warmth tends to elicit a more affection. If you want non-sexual affection, then you want to convey more warmth with your beloved, because warmth tends to say, holding hands and cuddling and stuff like that is warmth. Whereas mystery is more, a lot more erotica, a lot more overt sexuality. They are both. This is not a right, wrong, good, bad. You guys know I don't deal with that, right? So this is not about one is good, one is better than the other. You have both. And what I want you to do, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to learn to play with both. Learn to engage with both. The one that you have a tendency towards, you want to begin to practice using the other. Let me see what it's like for me to be a little more, I'm so warm all the time. What happens when I'm a little mysterious? What happens when I go from always smiling like this to just giving just a half smile? To having my gaze less focused on looking direct eye contact and more, kind of looking to the side a little bit and coming in some, how do I do that? How can I play with it? The same way you can play with other things like makeup and hair and other things like that. Play with your own energy to see how you want to show up. Stop saying about yourself, I am only this, I am this is the way I am. That actually contracts you. You're infinite. You're infinite. So you have so many different ways that you can show up in the world. Now, you may have one way that you are used to being in the world, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not demonizing that. We're not saying that's bad. But expand yourself and say, you know what? I wonder how I can show up differently. I wonder how I can show up like this. I wonder how I can show up like that. And play with that, because it's fun. It's fun. Doing it is fun. You know, like I was saying earlier, you know, I dress like this because it's fun. My beloved loves it. I love it. You know, I used to feel like I was born the wrong time period, because I love this mode of being, this mode of dress. I love walking around. If you saw my heels are like this high. I love that. You know, the only thing that's missing is my pearls and my gloves. You know, I love that. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And I can do this, and this is just as much of a statement of empowerment as when I do the head wraps, which is a completely different look, right? So enjoy your life, ladies. Enjoy your feminine expression. Stop thinking, yes, Nadine, isn't it super feminine? I love it. I love it. Enjoy it. Stop saying feminine is this and feminine is that, and feminine empowerment can only be, you know, being hairy and not shaving anything, and, you know, just accept me and I'm roaring and that's feminine empowerment. Can feminine empowerment show up as being ultra feminine? Can it show up as being ultra glam? Can it show up as being almost fragile, like a little doll baby? Heck yeah, it can. It can. Can it show up in, you know, having on like a super tight dress where everything is just like put out? Definitely. It's your energy. Please play with it. Please play with it. And I love this lipstick. I love this matte red. I've been looking for a matte red, and I finally got it by like combining like 3 different shades. I got the perfect shade that I wanted. Yeah. And I can talk to you guys because we're girls and we can talk about that. I love that. I know, and the nails go with it, right? And this is like a candy apple red with a little glitter. I love that. Yeah. But play with it, enjoy it. And the victory rolls. You guys have no idea how many bobby pins it took to get all of my hair into this thing. So I was in the bathroom like, oh my goodness. So yeah, play, enjoy yourself, enjoy your feminine, play with mystery, play with warmth. You guys have any questions? You guys have any questions about that energy? Because it's so, oh, thank you, Nadine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's so powerful. It's so powerful to be out, to get up in the morning and say, okay, now, how do I want to show up today? I have so many things. Thank you, creative goddess. Thank you. I gave some tips. I don't know if you saw them, Beyond, but I gave some. Really? Colored rain. Can you send me a message with a link, Isis? Because you have all the hookups. You have all the hookups. You know what I was thinking about doing? Because I do Ipsy, and I get like little things. I'm always getting makeup, and a lot of times I don't use everything. And I was like, you know what we should do? We should do like a makeup swap, where if it's something like we cut it and send samples, like cut the lipsticks into little slices and send samples to each other so we can try different things. Because I don't always want a tube. I just want to try it, you know? And then if I like it, I'll buy it. But you can't read colors and stuff like that online. So yeah. That's what I'm always like, we should do like some kind of thing where we can just like slice lipstick slices, cut up, you know, eyeshadow or whatever, and try it out before we buy it. Because I'm always concerned about colors. Like, oh, that looks great. I've done that, bought stuff online. I'm just like, once I get it home, I'm like, I don't like this at all. How do you be in mystery when you're uncomfortable with the person? Who are you uncomfortable with? You don't have to be in mystery if you're uncomfortable. Mystery is actually very good for being uncomfortable if you're uncomfortable with the person, because mystery tends to, depending on what you're doing, it's not just that mystery in and of itself is sensual. Mystery tends to make people feel like they don't know if they are welcome to connect with you. They're just unsure. It makes them a little unsure of themselves. So sometimes mystery can be the best thing to do when you want to, when you don't want to connect with them, or if you want to connect less with them. Now, if it's a person that you are in a relationship, like a romantic relationship with, and you're like, okay, I want to add more tension, I want to add more sensual tension to the relationship, but I'm a little concerned about being in mystery because I don't know how they're going to respond. We don't usually act like that. Okay, so here's a perfect example, and I've seen this a number of times. So you have a couple, they have a good relationship, they play around with each other a lot, their relationship is very lighthearted. There's a lot of like, oh my goodness, everything is like so kind of goofy, you know, and you know, sometimes he likes her so much because she's one of the boys, right? And then these women come in contact with the work that I do, Soft, okay, the School of Feminine Transformation, which is, you can find that at tinyurl.com/getsoft. You can can one of my muses put that in the room? tinyurl.com/getsoft. So she'll come in contact with that, and then all of a sudden she's like, okay, I want to change it up. Or maybe she's used to being in warmth all the time, and she's like, how do I get to be in mystery? Because as soon as I try to go in mystery, I feel goofy. Ladies, that is totally part of the process. Totally part of the process. It is not unusual to, when you are used to feeling like very like, okay, I'm warm, to feel, when you try to feel soft, do mystery, you feel shy, awkward, uncomfortable, like you're trying to be something you're not, right? That is so normal. And the way, thank you guys for sharing that. The way you get out of that is to understand that that is normal and to practice. So first, practice with yourself. Get in the mirror and look how you normally look. You know, do some goofy faces if you need to. You know, make some goofy faces just to get that energy out. And then say, okay, now let me connect to my womb space. And if you don't know how to connect to womb space, you definitely want to join soft, because the hows of doing this is a lot of what I teach in soft. But I'll give you these tips. Drop into your womb space. If you don't know how to do that, join soft. And then from there, when you are in yourself, when you are totally connected with yourself, then saying, okay, now, how do I feel? Do I feel sexy? You can't connect with mystery from the place of being sexy if you don't feel sexy. So if you don't feel sexy, go do something that's going to make you feel sexy. Go take a shower, shave if that's your thing. Moisturize your body with some kind of luxurious oils, something, smell a scent that makes you feel sensual. Go practice some self-love meditation, aka masturbation. Self-love meditation sounds better to me. Okay, go practice some of that. Go engage with some of that so that you feel sexy. And then looking at yourself in the mirror, say, okay, now if I was going to let my beloved know that I am interested in him without saying, hey, want to have sex? You know, without saying that, how would I show it? It's a light touch, okay? It's, again, I'm being flirty. I'm having a veil. It's looking out the sides of your eyes as opposed to looking dead on like this, okay? Yeah, right? Sounds so clinical. So go and you know, I'm just gonna give a hint of a smile. I'm gonna use double entendre, okay, when I'm talking, as opposed to being overt in what I'm discussing. You know, I'm gonna use things that have like a hint, an analogy. I'm gonna find the sensual in everything. I'm going to practice eating. Eating is a really good way to practice mystery. Cut up a piece of fruit, an incredibly juicy piece of fruit. And how slowly, how sensually can I eat this fruit? If I was trying to show my beloved how much I want him or her by eating this piece of fruit in front of them, how would I do that? What if you're in a relationship with someone who is insecure? Your mystery side doesn't, well, sometimes some people, you know, mango is good for that. Strawberries are really good for that. Mango is good if it's really juicy. Any kind of melon can be really good for that because it's juicy. But you want to have, whatever it is, it needs to be juicy. And you need to focus on how sensually delightful the fruit is. Now, if you're with someone and they aren't comfortable with sexuality in general, some people are, they never really outgrew the awkward adolescence, and that's not really always their fault. You know, I mean, we don't have a culture that teaches us how to be sensual. It doesn't teach women, and it doesn't teach men. It doesn't teach men how to be sexually aware and to hold their own sexual energy, right? Oh, you guys, do you know where I went last night? I went to La Bar, which is a male strip club. It's not really a strip club because they really didn't have on any clothes. It's like a male review. Oh my goodness. It was my first time going. See, I've gone to like female, you know, strip clubs and stuff before. I had never gone to one with men. It's the one like, what is it? Magic Mike, XSL. Yeah, I went there. And I didn't want to, at first I was like, I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if this is my thing, you know? And I went and I had so much fun. But you know what I noticed? Because I noticed things, right? What's the address? It's here in Dallas. I'm in Dallas this weekend. those men, not only were they gorgeous physically, but you know what they knew how to do, and this is how this relates to what we're talking about. They knew how to hold their sensual and sexual energy. They were incredibly confident, and they knew that they had a lot of sex appeal, and but they weren't like, oh yes, just look at me, like some of the women can be when you go to a woman's space. I mean, to a space that's created for men, but it's women dancers. They were very much like, you want to touch me? You're so beautiful. I mean, they were just amazing, and they knew they had a lot of confidence in how they were showing up sexually. A lot of confidence. And I had this moment, this aha moment, that one of the things about our culture and about our society is that we have undermined men's ability, and they're feeling like they can be confident sexually, because now the culture and the narrative about men is that they shouldn't be confident sexually. We can have sexual confidence, but men cannot. And I think that doesn't serve us. I actually think that's why a lot of us are having bad sex. Okay, because we can't do it all by ourselves. It doesn't matter how amazing your yoni is and how many skills you have and how confident you are. If your partner does not feel confident in showing up and really showing up sexually and being a force sexually with you, you're not going to have good sex. Okay, and so I had this aha moment where it was like, wow, this is why so many men aren't showing up like this. I mean, those guys were amazing in how they were showing up. There was absolute no apology, none. And you could see all their stuff, all their stuff. I mean, it wasn't full frontal, they had on their stuff, but yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. Well, I just, I was like, and it was funny because I'm not a prude, and I'm not, I've done a lot of things, and I've been in a lot of spaces that most people have never been. And I was just like, I didn't consider myself, I didn't really think there was anything that would make me go, but I was just like, well, okay, I take my jab, because yeah, it's, ooh. Okay, so it's a very interesting experience, but the thing about it that made it so interesting, in part, besides the guys just being absolutely gorgeous, was the fact that they were so confident in their sensuality and their sexual energy. So I said all that to say this: if you are with a man or a woman, if you have a partner that you're with and they are not confident in their own sexual aura, in their own sexuality, then they will probably do things to diffuse that sensual tension when you show up in mystery, right? So you show up in mystery and you're giving little hints and you're kind of being flirty, and they're like, oh, what's going on with your eyes? Or, why, what do you mean by that? Or why are you acting like that? They'll do something to kind of break that tension because it's uncomfortable for them, because they aren't used to that type of sensual tension. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Have you ever experienced that? I know I've been with people where I've experienced that. And so what I'm going to, they'll deflect it, exactly. So what I'm going to suggest in that case is, don't deem it, you can't shame them into it. You can't be like, oh, look at you can't even handle it. Don't be loving, express or make a joke, or try, or even do something that makes you feel uncomfortable about what you did. And I don't think they're necessarily trying to do that. They just want to do whatever is necessary to kind of I just need this to go away because I'm so uncomfortable with it. So I want to encourage you to walk that path through the path of love. And by that I mean, like I said, don't shame them. Don't try to shame them into it or make them feel stupid or whatever for what they're doing, even though it's kind of hard not to, because it's deflating and it kind of makes you feel embarrassed and it can make you feel uncomfortable with your own sensuality. But this is where you step into your power, is saying to them, maybe not in that moment, let yourself, kind of take it in and just kind of work on yourself, loving on yourself and things like that because of that. But and it makes it so that you don't want to try again because you don't want to have that happen again, right? But in a different space, like maybe the next day or a few days later, have a conversation with them about it and let them know. Be very honest. Honesty and communicating and telling them what's happening does not ruin the romance. Okay? So just say, I've been doing some research and I've been working on some things, and I really would like to see if we can relate a little differently. I really would like to play with relating to you a little bit differently. And I'll ask Richard if he's willing to do a video for men you know, or for the masculine, where he kind of talks about this, and we'll put it on YouTube. And then you can just, like, when you're ready to have that conversation where we say, you know, here's something that might help, you know, where he can talk to them a little bit about how to hold that space, because it is an art. Holding the space for that and being able to engage like that is an art form. See, these are the things, okay, I just have to squeeze for a minute, because these are the things about being feminine, and about that feminine, that masculine feminine energy, that polarity that is so delicious that we have lost because we don't cultivate it as an art. So we think that it's just one way. You're either born this way or you're not. And so we're missing out on it. But it is something that you can cultivate. It is something that you can learn, right? So you know, allowing them the grace and the space to learn, you know. Well, see, I want to see if we can just be kind of flirty with each other, you know. And there are people who teach on flirting, you know. Hey, how about, you know, here's some information about that might be helpful if you're interested. You know, how do you feel about that? I love it when you are really confident in how you engage with me sexually. That's sensually. That's so delicious to me. I love that. It makes me feel so good. You know, saying things that's actually going to encourage that, and recognizing that it's a process. It's not like it's just going to happen overnight if your partner isn't comfortable with it. It's going to take some time, you know, but it's definitely doable. I've seen the most awkward people, honestly. I've seen the most sensually awkward people. Just like, if you saw them now, you just go, wow, they really know how to do that. And they can go from, and here's the thing, going back to the feminine side of things, that warmth and mystery. Here's where, if you're like, okay, I know how to be warm and I know how to be mysterious, and I do both equally well, and I know I do both well, then your charge would be to play with going from one to the other in the course of a conversation. Can you do that? You know, going from one to another with the same person in like the space of an hour, you know, and it being a very natural thing. That's how you create fascination. And I consider fascination to be it's huge for everybody, but I think when it comes to the feminine, you have to have fascination. It's just an absolute imperative. It is so delicious and so delightful. It's like the most exquisite flavor, you know. And so when you know how to go from one to the other and just kind of be fluid with it back and forth, is where you start finding amazing things happening. It's when you become the most fascinating person in the room. It's where people are hanging on your every word, and they can't wait to hear from you, and they can't wait to see you because you fascinate them. And so and it's all in your power. It's all in your control. It's all in your ability to, what do you want to do? Do you want to do that? Now, if at the end of this, you go, I don't really care about that. I don't care how people see me. I don't care how they engage with me. Then that's one thing, you know. That's your choice, and I'm okay with that. But for the rest of us who want to play and engage with this energy, I want to encourage you to do that. And I think encouragement is important, because I think a lot of us want to play with it, but we're scared. We're nervous. We haven't been given permission. So I am giving you guys permission. I'm giving you guys permission to play. And yeah, I get it, being very straightforward. Yeah, the more straightforward you are, the more time you spend in intensity, the more time you spend being very like pragmatic, and I'm an academic, or I'm analytical, or anything like that. Sometimes I'm sarcastic, or I'm you know, some people, I'm not sarcastic, but some people say that I'm very sarcastic, you know, or things like that. Where that tends to be where your energy goes, then what you want to do is play more with mystery, and play with other things. Like, okay, well, that's wonderful. If that, we've got that, we know how to be that aspect of our personality is very developed. I wonder what other elements of my personality are available to me that I have, that maybe, welcome from Portugal, that maybe I haven't played with. What other elements are there that I haven't engaged with? I haven't given myself permission to engage with, and maybe I haven't even developed them. Maybe they're still in their infancy, and let me play with those for a while. Let me develop those other areas, you know. I mean, learning is not just about going to school, you know, and enrolling in a PhD program or a master's degree program. That's one way of learning, and that's wonderful. But what about learning different ways of being? in yourself? What about exploring different ways of who you are with yourself? That is equally important, and it can be so much fun. See, a lot of times we do it, but we only do it for things that are painful. Like, okay, well, I'm so used to struggling and being in lack, so now I guess I'm going to learn how to be in abundance. Or I'm so used to being abused, and now I'm going to focus on just worrying about me. So everything, a lot of times we do those things, but we only do those things with things that are very heavy, and sometimes things that are very painful. What about doing it? Hey, Monique the doula, thank you. What about doing it with things that are just delightful and that are just fun and enjoyable and just make your life better? You know what makes life better? Making life better isn't always about getting a better career, a better house, or a bigger house, or a bigger car, a better car, having more money. Making life better is having having more excellence and delight in your life. That's what makes life better. So if you start looking at your life as what gives me more excellent, what makes my life experience more excellent to me, and what gives me more delight in my life, and those are the things I'm going to go towards. That's important. A lot of times we don't even ask the what, we just go into I'm going to start doing. Dax and I were talking about Maslow's hierarchy, having time and resources to play and explore ourselves. Exactly. And I will admit that it's easier to do that when you have money. I'm not going to lie. That is true. It is a lot easier to play with that when you know that your bills are paid. It's like I didn't start doing this kind of stuff and really playing with this, even though I was always drawn to it, but I didn't have the money to play with it until I had some money. You understand what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Even if you're at a place where you're like, okay, I've got some stuff going on, I still have some money wonk, I'm still working through that, working with you and Richard on that, fine. There's still things that you can do even when you're at that level. In other words, you may not be able to go and get the full outfit and go buy all of the stuff, but you can get a book. You can look at some websites. You can do some shopping online. You can do it's not window shopping if you do it online. I don't know, what do we call it? Browsing. You can browse online. You can save those things. Pinterest is wonderful for that. It's like, virtual scrapbooking, right? So you can, I love this, because you're planting seeds of your desire, even if you can't afford to get to your desire from where you are right now. Even if you can't do it now, you can still plant those seeds. And that's what we did. That's what I did. It was like, okay, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of money right now, but if I did, how would I like to dress? What would I like to look like? What would I like to add to my life? What does abundance look like for me? What would I play with? Not just, okay, I just want to have all my bills paid and that's it. No, what would I enjoy playing with? Like, one of my things was, I want to be what abundance looks like for me when I didn't have any money. Abundance, one of my things was, abundance looks like being able to go and buy makeup and not worry about A, how much the makeup costs, and B, I have to have it precisely, I only have one shot at this. I only have $6 to spend on a tube of lipstick, or $10 or whatever, and so it better be right because I can't afford for it to be wrong. Okay? That's what abundance looked like for me, was the ability, and I actually wrote a blog post about this. It was something about eggs. I wrote this some months ago. About, being able to say, I can go out and buy all the ingredients for a recipe, and even if I totally screw the recipe up, it's okay, because that doesn't mean look, that was all the food that we had, so we can't eat because you can't cook. You see what I'm saying? Like, my not being able to do something perfect is not going to be a liability. That's the level, that's what abundance looks like for me, is that I have the freedom to try and fail. I have the freedom to experiment and it not go right, and it's okay. And the only thing that I lost was the time that I did it, but I can redo it and it's fine. That was one of the qualifiers for abundance for me. That's what would feel abundant for me. And so when I got to the point where it was like, man, yeah, I can go in the store and I can buy any makeup I want. I can buy as much of it as I want, and I can just play with it. And then at the end of the day, if I don't like it, it's like, oh, you know what? I did it and I didn't like it. So what? Big deal. And move on. That was like, wow. But I knew that before I got there. Okay. So when you don't take the time to ask yourself, like, what is abundance? What are some of the things that abundance would show up as? And this is, I didn't plan on talking about abundance, but this is true. What are some of the ways that abundance would show up as for me if I felt like I was really abundant? Things wouldn't have to be functional. I could just do it for pleasure. I could buy teacups, not because I need more teacups, but because it's just beautiful. those kind of things. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to start playing with as you're trying to get your abundance more. Get more abundance. Is what does that look like for me? And these are some of the things that you can look at as far as, you know, how you're dressing, how you're showing up in the world. You know, it's a lot more challenging to be willing to be warmth and be that invitation when you feel like you're struggling financially, or when you feel like, you know, or even to be mystery. You know, it's difficult because you're so focused on security. You're so focused on what's the state of my finances that you're just looking at everything through that lens, and there's a whole world outside of that you don't even give yourself the space to explore. So exploring it without spending any money is a way of expanding so that you start attracting more abundance, because you've expanded what you desire. No, I don't just desire to be able to pay my bills. You know what I desire? I desire to be able to splurge. I desire to go out and splurging. What splurging looks like for me is this. I desire to be able to explore myself, to explore all my facets and find out how they're showing up. I want a closet full of clothes, and not just one type of clothes, different kinds of clothes. You know what? I like this look and I like this look. And I want to be able to have enough money that I can cultivate both if I want to. You know, that kind of stuff. Once you have the confidence to try with the possibility of failure, it translates to exploring. Exactly, Sugar Sean. You are exactly right. You are exactly right. And that confidence, you know, is imperative. And give yourself, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving you permission. If you needed permission, here it is from the universe. But also give yourself permission, like, it's okay for me to do this. And you can start small. You know, you can start small. Go get something small. If you're trying to play with mystery and you're uncomfortable, buy a veil. Buy a scarf, a very sheer scarf, and begin playing with it. Like, what does it look like? Hold it up to your face, okay? Watch some movies. Watch Kama Sutra, A Tale of Love. That's a really good one. Watch that movie. She's very good with mystery. Not Maya, but the other woman. I can't remember her name right now. The other Indian woman, she's very good with mystery. That's a good way to learn, okay? So another way that you can actually increase your mystery and your warmth. And I would love it if you guys would, if you're in soft, or if you're in feminine transformation, I have a group on Facebook called Feminine Transformation. Post some movies. I'm gonna start a thread, and the thread is gonna be, I'm gonna start one for mystery, and I'm gonna start one for warmth. And I want you guys to put your movies in, you know, as comments, as far as movies that showcase feminine warmth and movies that showcase feminine mystery, so you can see what does that look like. Wow. Don't feel bad about mimicry. That's how we learn at first. So you can say, okay, you know what? I am channeling Cleopatra. I am channeling this person. Audrey Hepburn, I'm going to do that. I'm going to channel. What is that like? Okay, let me see. What does she show up as? If you're in soft, which archetype is she showing up as? And what is she showing up as, warmth and mystery? Because all archetypes can be both. All archetypes can be warm or mystery, right? So my group on Facebook is called Feminine Transformation. Yeah. And Muses, you guys know that our group is private, so we'll post it in there too, because I think we can go really deep in there, especially because we can blend the archetypes with that warmth and mystery. Yeah. Hey, guess what I'm saying with the veil covering your face but showing your eye? Oh, yes. You know who's really good at that is Tyra. She talks about smiling with your eyes. You know, so a lot... Smile and it's not reaching your eyes like this, and mouth is smiling, that's not doing anything, you know. But smiling with your whole face, and then saying, you know, mystery, smile just with your eyes. See if you can convey just with your eyes what you're saying. That's fabulous. I mean, that's an amazing tip. Yeah. So I hope that helps you guys. I can't wait to talk to you guys and see what videos and what movies you post, because I love good movies. I'm always looking for good movies. Oh my goodness. Shalom, Tamu. You are so welcome. Love your face. Love your face. You guys have a fabulous Saturday. We'll be back. Richard and I will come back tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.